Okay guys, here I am again with another celebrity spotlight, and this one's going to be fun too, because I know the other one that I did the other day, Northwest, that was an interesting one for sure, because Northwest is just a baby, but I would love to go into a maternity ward and say, here's what you've got going on, you know, and good luck. But this one is J J Abrams, and he's a famous producer, of course, and he's been known for things like, well, his first film was Taking Care of Business, starring Jim Belushi. And then he's been known for Alias, Lost. He rebooted the Star Trek franchise. He did the Super 8 movie. What was the other thing? Oh, Star Wars, The Force Awakens, or The Force Awakens. And he directed Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise. He's married to Katie McGrath, of course, the actress. And he has 2 Emmys, one for Best Director and Outstanding Drama Series for Lost. So he's done a lot, and he has a company, Bad Robot. He's got all kinds of things going on. I mean, if you don't know who he is, Google him, because he's quite intriguing. But he's mysterious at the same time, because his chart really shows a lot of difficulties, but highly, highly, highly creative. So let me just break it down for you. First of all, his essence or his life path number is a 37/10. So it's his date of birth, this whole date of birth adds to 37. And then 3 + 7 is 10. So a lot of numerology books will just say, okay, he's a 10. But there could be 10 10s in the room, and they're all different. Why? Because what it adds to first. And you can get 10 by saying 19, you can get it, you know, all different ways, right? But he's a 37/10, so he's got the 3 in the outer position, which is good. It's inspiration, it's imagination, he's creative. But the 7 is in the weaker or inner position, which means he has issues with trust of himself and also trust of others. So he's a little bit on the skeptical side. And that can be really accentuated because this guy has got not 1, not 2, but 3 6s on the mind plane. That means he's incredibly creative, because 6 is the number of creativity and creative expression. But in the negative, because 6 is also called the number of extremes, and it has a strong positive side and a strong negative side. So if you get sucked into the vortex of the negativity, it's like you need a rope to pull you out. And so they can be very irritable people, they can be moody, they can be judgmental, critical, elusive. They can suffer anxiety, a lot of digestive upset. You know, he probably, most certainly, is something with a digestive or anxiety or something like that, for sure. With 666s, I don't see that very often at all. But if you notice on his chart, he's very mentally dominant, which is good. I mean, being a director, you want to be mindfully dominant because you're a creator. You're creating and directing and all that stuff. So it's good when he's in creative mode. But when he's not and he's idle, that's when trouble can brew. So he also has a 9 on that mind plane as well. So 9 is the most active number. It's the big dreamer. It's like the tangent thinker. It's the, 10 steps ahead, kind of computer-like. So he's just all up here. I mean, this is where his home base is, up in the brain. And he's very emotionally sensitive. So he keeps people here because he's just got a single 2 on the soul plane, which means that 2 is the number of intuition and sensitivity. And it's so sensitive that he doesn't let a lot of people near his heart because he doesn't have a lot of soul protection. So also he's got a single 1 on the physical, which means he has a hard time verbally expressing his emotions as well. So that could cause some issues in relationships. However, I've met Katie McGrath, and I think she fills in some blanks for him in a big way, because she's very motherly, she's very touchy-feely, she's very, I think that they make that, what do they call it, opposites attract, so one fills in the other person's voids. So although he can't express his feelings, I think she understands him. And so that's a good thing. But he's been through the ringer because he's got an isolated 7 on his chart. Anyone who has an isolated 7, 7 is the most active physical number, which means it's like leap before thinking number. So like, I won't do that again, hindsight learning. So when it's isolated, it means it's trapped energy. So he's been around the block in terms of living and learning and putting a lot of notches on his belt by like making mistakes and saying, here comes the same pattern. It's almost like that saying, same crap, different pile, So he's put in his time and he's put in his dues and he's got the experience. And he's a wise soul because he's the 10, which is the communication number, which is perfect for what he does. But also 10 is the earth guide that leads through casual conversation. So it's just kind of like it spills out. His wisdom just kind of, just pops out. And it's really interesting. But the other interesting thing is that he is poised right now. He's in an 8, so there's a lot of opportunities falling into his lap right now. So he's probably got a smorgasbord of a lot of stuff, and what does he choose? And he should be really mindful of breadcrumbs, I call them, breadcrumbs from the universe, because that's what's going to happen. He's going to start to get little signs, like if you meet someone on the street and they say, hey, JJ, I haven't seen you in a while. What have you been up to? And they're like, oh, well, that's cool. You should talk to so-and-so. And, of course, JJ, being very mind-based, he's going to go with what his mind says. And if his mind says, but his heart is saying, yes, 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 he should be doing the yes, yes, yes. Even though it may not make logical sense at the time, it will. And that's where he's really got to be mindful. So, JJ, if you're watching this, you really got to be paying attention to the signs right now. And next year, you're going into a 9-year personal year, which is change on every level. I'm talking like, boom, explosion. Because your first 2 cycles were kind of like crap shows. I mean, really, like you went through the ringer. Because you've got the 6 as your first cycle, which is relationships, starting, ending, changing them. Then your second cycle, that was in your 20s and adolescence, all the way up to your 20s. Then around 35, you hit a 4, which is a foundation shifting your life completely, getting rid of people, pruning things that don't belong, literally and figuratively. Like some people will actually get a garbage bag and one day just start dumping things in. I just want to get rid of this stuff. And it's on all levels, because what it's doing is clearing the runway for career, for your path and your purpose. Because your last 2 cycles are 10s, which are mentors. You're the mentor. You're the communicator. It's a master number. So I know that society teaches us that we're supposed to be 25 and know what we're supposed to be doing and being successful. And if we're not, which you already are, of course, but there's much more to come, because this is just the beginning. I mean, wow. You're going to really leave your mark on the world in a big way, because you've got 2 cycles of being the mentor. So the best is yet to come, and your real passion and your real purpose is coming up sooner than later. Like, it's on your doorstep. So, I understand that you're a very private person, because your life path is a pure 2. And 2, again, the number of intuition and sensitivity, the emotional number. But the 0 accentuates that. So that means being a pure 2, you're very soft of heart, so you keep to yourself. You're elusive, you're kind of like mysterious. Not everybody knows you. It's interesting, to say the least. And I know that, a lot of this you'll resonate with. And Malaku, hopefully you show JJ this, because I definitely want him to know about all of this. And that's really it in a nutshell for you, JJ. I don't want to go too deeply, but, give me a call if you want a whole chart. I'll give you one. So I want to say happy birthday to JJ, J J Abrams, who's going to turn 52 on June 27th. So happy birthday. Tune in again next week, guys, because we'll have another celebrity spotlight here on LotteryUSA.com.